Welcome to Control Talk 2.0, where we interview the brightest and smartest minds in the HVAC controls industry. I'm joined by Ken Smyers, my co-host here. And Ken, we are just super, super lucky. Today we have Tom Rosbach, the Vice President and General Manager of Honeywell's Commercial Controls Division, has agreed to come on and have a conversation with us and tell us what's up at Honeywell. So I don't know about you, Kenny, but I'm really thrilled about this.
Yeah, we certainly are, Eric. Thank you very much, Tom.
So Tom, welcome to Control Talk 2.0.
Thanks for that, Eric, and thanks, Ken. It's great to be here. You know, there's a lot of things going on at Honeywell, and it's my favorite thing to talk about.
Well, tell us what you do at Honeywell.
So I lead all the commercial controls brands for Honeywell in the Americas. So, of course, the Honeywell brand. We also have, we recently acquired Incom, which is a hotel thermostat company. EMON is our energy metering business. Tritium, is great infrastructure for the entire industry. We also have other control brands like Allerton, Trend, Novar for big box retail.
Have made some fantastic acquisitions in the past, Tom, and it seemed like, from our perspective, and keep in mind, as you know, Kenny and I are Honeywell partners. We've both handled the product line for a really, really long time, and we were thrilled with some of the acquisitions you guys made, and it seemed like you guys just made this huge stride forward. And now, Tom, there's some concerns. There've been a lot of changes. You guys have made a lot. I think you've made a lot of changes, and the Honeywell team has. It's got some people concerned. They're not quite understanding what all that's about. Could you talk a bit about some of the change?
Sure. And Eric, I think I'm aware of a lot of them. But what are you hearing? Tell me what some of the concerns are in the field.
Let's start with the big one. Let's start with Tritium. I mean, that was a huge shakeup.
Yeah, it really was, and it was really, really a tough situation. So, the first thing I'd like to do is thank everybody at Tritium for all their service and support for the years that they've been with the business and with Honeywell, from the founders, Jerry and his team to the management team. What I found with Tritium is that everything that we had done prior, which is amazing and fantastic and really solid, wasn't going to take us where we needed to go, take the company to the next level. So I had to make some really, really tough changes and really bring in an entirely new leadership team that was focused on the business of software. Because ultimately, in order for you to be successful, for your partners to be successful, Tritium has to net up their game. As good as they are, they can be dramatically better. And I'd like to just, if we've got some time, talk about the people that I brought into the Tritium business.
Love to hear about that.
Okay, so first I brought in a software leader, Nino DeCosmo. He's worked at some really big software companies like ED&S and some small startups. So he understands big and enterprise, yet he's got this small company agility kind of built into the way he thinks, and he's really going to be a great leader for Tritium. I brought in a new sales leader, Wayne Tai. Wayne Tai comes to us with 20 years at Hewlett-Packard, selling everything from personal computers and printers all the way up to big software and enterprise systems. So Wayne is definitely the right guy to really engage with all of our OEM partners and bring Tritium into their product offerings in a much deeper, more meaningful way. And then from a product management standpoint, I'm just super fortunate. We brought in a gentleman named Pranay Prakash, and Pranay worked for Dell and actually developed Dell's cloud infrastructure service business, where you just buy a server, hook it up to the internet, and immediately it downloads all the software, does everything that you need to do to configure the server. And it takes days of work out of server configuration for small companies that just don't have that capability. So that's really the core of the team. Jenny Graves is an awesome software Marcom individual that we brought into the business. So I'm really looking for big things from Tritium. And we've had Niagara 3 out in the marketplace, and we talked about Niagara 4 at the summit, and we're hard at work on Niagara 4, and it's going to be awesome.
Can you explain how Honeywell operates and how it manages Tritium?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ken. Well, it's no secret that Honeywell acquired Tritium. I think what a lot of people don't know is how we manage Tritium. So Tritium is an asset to the entire industry, and we sell a lot of products broadly to our competitors. And so we keep Tritium separate from Honeywell as a separate limited liability corporation, and we manage it that way. So that there's really true independence from Tritium to Honeywell. We share a lot of personnel systems and back office systems, but where it really counts, we operate Tritium as a separate independent business.
We did have the opportunity to meet Nino DeCosmo down at Realcomm Ibicom. We had a chance to sit down and chat with him a little bit too. So yeah, it's interesting. You bring in a lot of different faces and a lot of different perspectives into the business. So I think on one hand, people are excited about it, and maybe on the other hand, they're a little bit nervous. But it's good to sort of hear your vision for Tritium.
So I'm sure that people are concerned, and I understand that concern, but I want to let you know that the core of the business, the BMS core, is definitely solid and intact. And we've got Ed and Scott on the Vicon side, just super. John Sublett, our CTO, totally engaged in Niagara 4.0. So while I've changed the leadership of the company, the core remains super solid.
Tom, thank you for that insight. Great stuff. And the team's added to that team. You have Ed Merwin, you have James Johnson, Laura Cavett, some really great, technically competent people and very engaging, very helpful, and they help us sell the Vicon product line.
And I'd also, mention that Laura is developed Web Squad for us, did an outstanding job, and is now back working with Ed on the Ed's team. Ed Merwin's team.
You guys really have ramped up the customer support, I think, and I think you guys had taken so much on so rapidly, Tom. Quite candidly, sometimes the support got a little bit behind the curve, and it wasn't from lack of trying from your team. Everybody from the people we just mentioned to the Roger Rebenacks and the Stephen Haynes, and I mean, you just have really dedicated people on your team. But talk about the Web Squad, because that really is. A very comforting concept, I think.
Sure, Eric. And what we heard about our support was that it took way too long to get calls into TAC, to get them logged, and to get responses back out. It was just unacceptable to our partners. You're on the job, you got a problem, you got to get an answer, and you got to get off the job, and that just wasn't happening fast enough. So we developed Web Squad as a way to have a dedicated group of people here in Golden Valley who knew this stuff inside and out, and who had the bandwidth to handle all the rapid response calls that we needed to handle. And so far, we do a little satisfaction survey at the end of every Web Squad engagement, overwhelmingly positive from our partners. So I'm really glad that it's working, and we're going to continue to expand it as the call volume continues to rise.
Very good. Okay, so also some shakeups at Honeywell. What needs to be said is all these people that have sort of moved on are really great people and really well liked in the industry. But do you want to speak or comment at all about some of the changes you've made on the Honeywell side of the house?
Sure. On the Honeywell side, Dave Moline has moved on to a new role, and I wish him really well. He did a fantastic job with the Honeywell brand and really developing the Webs and Spider offering. Our product manager, Nitin Lambda, actually went to a startup in California, and I wish him the best. And I'm actively looking at replacing those positions and have just an awesome slate of candidates pulled together that I think will really net up our game. Because if you look at what's happened over the past several years after the introduction of Webs and the Spiders, is it really has been happening probably slower than I would like. I'm a products guy. I'm an NPI guy. I love developing products, and that's one thing where I think we can really step up the game. We've got a broad product offering, probably the broadest in the industry, but we see some great competitors out there, and that makes us better, and I welcome it, and we will up our NPI ante. I got a new engineering leader who's focused on bringing more capability into the business, and we're actually using some new and leading software development processes called a Scaled Agile framework, and man, they're making a difference in speed. I'm seeing it already. So look for more faster from us in the next couple years.
People really, I think, tend to question you when you are successful and you want to take it to the next level. So, I have to commend you for these tough choices you're making. And one of the things I have to tell you that is different from Honeywell, and Ken can attest to this too. I mean, it used to be, Tom, that you guys the players were changing every year. And we mentioned Dave Moline, who is one of my, I really like Dave a lot, but I had to miss. Have you ever had a situation where you just said something you wish you hadn't? I met Dave when he first started with Honeywell, and this is when you guys reorganized every couple of years. And Dave made a couple of comments, and I looked at him and said, "Hey, Dave, with all due respect, I mean, you're not going to be here in a year and a half." And every time I'd see Dave after that, he would remind me that I made that statement. So I ate a lot of crow with him. But I think the message that I got from that is you guys are putting stability in place, and the players that are coming on board are there for a very long time, which I think, bodes well for consistency in the marketplace.
Hey, thanks, Eric. I've been with Honeywell 20 years now, and I've worked in various divisions, and I've been in this one since 2001, and I've been in this job since 2010, and I consider myself a newbie, right? I mean, even though I've got a lot of industry experience over the past 12 years, I still have a heck of a lot to learn. It's an awesome industry, and I know that we need stability, that we've had a lot of people, come in and out of the business over the past 10 years. And my goal is really to stabilize the groups, bring in great leadership, and create the kind of glue that we need together as partners to really make a difference in the industry.
I can tell you from talking to members on your team, and again, I've been doing Honeywell products for 30 years, and I can tell you from talking to people on your team, I mean, they are really, really proud to be working for you. I mean, you're like their guy, and that's something I haven't heard from Honeywell in a long time. So again, I got to commend you for that as well.
Tom, shifting gears and going into a more personal side, tell us a little bit how you got into business and your passion for products. You have a great reputation for loving products, understanding how they work and how they're engineered, and always seeking a better product.
Yes, thanks, Ken. It's a great question. So I got into the industry almost by accident. So I started working for Honeywell in 1993 on the aerospace side, and I worked on developing airborne collision avoidance systems that are flying in 80% of the aircraft today. And it was just really rewarding to do something that was so positive for so many people. In 2001, I had the opportunity to move to Minneapolis and lead engineering for something called Environmental and Combustion Controls, the business I work in today. And I had global responsibility for engineering for a number of years until I took the leadership job here in 2010. And I was actually in Switzerland, living there for a little while, and I got a call from my boss at the time, Joe Pushis, and he said, "Hey, you want to lead the commercial control systems business?" And I thought about it for maybe a second, said, "Hell yes, I do. That's an awesome business," because it's an engineering business. I'm an engineer. That's my background is electrical engineering. And I'm also really passionate about products and systems. And ultimately it's the quality of the products, the quality of the systems that we develop that you guys can deploy that makes us both successful. And so that is the heart and core of all of it. And I've got my fingers all over the product development inside all of the Honeywell products, and I think I can make a difference. And the team here is really energized to be part of Honeywell. It's really an exciting time for us.
Tom, one of the questions that somebody said I should ask you is about hiking in Switzerland. Is there a story there?
Yeah, there's a story about hiking in Switzerland. So I was living over there. Our managing director was ill, and I was leading our European business, and I was over there. And every weekend I'd try to go out hiking. And one weekend we hiked up to the Trift Glacier, which was in the German side of Switzerland. It's about a 4-hour hike, and what they had there at the glacier was a bridge across this gully and they had pictures back in time from the 40s where the glacier was actually higher than where the bridge was today, and you could see the changes in this small, remote Swiss alpine valley that were driven by climate change, and that really got to me, and that's when I think it said, hey, we can make a difference in our customers' lives, in the buildings that they work in, that they live in. We can reduce the amount of energy that it takes to create a comfortable environment, and we can make a more comfortable environment. And it really kind of resonated with me on a couple of levels. Number one is hey, it's great for the planet, what we do, and it's great to be involved in an industry that's so focused on sustainability and green. I mean, it's really rewarding. And the second thing is, hey, we can save people a lot of money. So even if you don't agree with the green side, and even if you don't say, climate change is an issue, we got a real great economic foundation to help people save money in their buildings. And that's also kind of the heart of what we do in our EEO program, which is something that only Honeywell does. And Eric, you've been through the training.
That's a must. It really is. And the fact that you guys are teeing your partners up to know how to communicate the value proposition, not just in terms of energy savings, because people do that, but in terms of, from a business standpoint, what does it add to your bottom line to improve your productivity by having a more comfortable space? What does it mean to your ability to charge for leases by having a higher Energy Star rating? All those things were taken into consideration. You guys provided us with a great tool set to do those calculations. You also brought in a gentleman by the name of Mark Jewell, who just blew us away with his, he's been around the industry, and around real estate people for so many years. He really speaks the language. Like you, he's very, very passionate about what he does. So the EEO program I agree, Tom. It's a must, and I got to commend you guys for that. That is really, I think, thinking outside the box and creating a unique value that most others don't have.
Yeah, Eric, as much as I love product, it's not all about product, right? And what we were seeing is our customers, a lot of our partners were struggling with doing owner negotiated work, and the whole focus of EEO is to get people comfortable with going in and making that C-suite presentation and creating something we call a one-page proposal, which puts the benefit clearly in front of people who don't have the time to wade through a detailed 20-page technical proposal. Pull all the good stuff to the front, and then get the sale, do the work. We got some great people who have worked on the program, Jack and Jerry, and the whole team. And so this is just one of the benefits that are available to Honeywell partners only. Nobody else offers anything like EEO.
We're going to come back to the Honeywell Partners thing in a bit, and we will also put a link on the bottom of Control Trends where you can click on it and find out more information on the EEO training. But I would agree, Tom, that's an absolute must.
Tom, yeah, speaking of the Spider product, it's been a great stalwart product for Honeywell, and thousands upon thousands of them have been installed and are operating in a lot of buildings around North America. But what can we look forward to with the Spider? Is it a product that Honeywell is going to sustain and improve, or is it going to be eventually replaced?
Okay, hey, Ken, that's a great question. We introduced the Spider in 2007, started developing it in 2005, and it's been very successful. I think it's a great offering. What we're hearing from the field is that some people are having a little bit of trouble deploying the Spider, and that the tool needs some improvement. So the very first thing that we're going to do is do something called refactor the tool. This means that we're going to rewrite it and solve all the small problems that people are still having. And I also have to say that we've been fixing the tool as we went along, right? So the tool that we introduced in 2007 and the tool we have today are very different. But I also have to tell you, this is the first really big application that anybody did on top of Niagara. And we broke some glass. We really pushed hard to have an innovative offering, and it is. But we made some mistakes, and we know what they are, and we've got a program in place now with our software development teams to completely rewrite the tool. The Spyders are going to be with us for a long time. We've sold a lot of them. It's a great hardware product, but it also, I know that there's a bunch of holes in the product offering. We don't have a good plant controller option. We don't have some smaller controllers, and we created the LCBS category, and then we kind of abandoned it over time, right? Web Vision is certainly not it. That's what I'm hearing from the field. So we're going to go, resolve those specific issues. At the same time, we are embarking on a new generation of controllers. You'll hear more about it as time goes on, but we need to increase the capability and leapfrog the existing controllers, the Spyder controllers that we have. They're going to be with us for a long time. They're very capable, but I know that we can do more, and the team is excited about this program.
People that are not on board with Honeywell yet, maybe they're a user that maybe doesn't have Honeywell products in their building, a consulting engineer that's maybe not specifying Honeywell yet, or even a systems integrator that maybe is using a competitive brand. Why should they consider using Honeywell?
Why Honeywell? It's a great question. I think the first and most important thing is Honeywell is truly open. And open is a word that's been thrown around a lot, especially around communications buses. LAN, BACnet, Modbus, just because it has a quote-unquote open communication bus, in our view, doesn't mean it's truly open. When we think about open, we think not only communications, that's kind of table stakes now. It's really, can you get support and service from multiple entities? If you can only get it from a single entity in a geography, the system ultimately isn't, in our view, truly open.
I could not agree with you more. And it's funny because Kenny and I went down and covered Realcomm Ibicon, which is the big real estate show that Jim Young does, and that's where we met Nino. But it was great. They had a boot camp the day before, Tom, and they were talking. It was basically people like Daryl Smith from Microsoft and the people that have really embraced the new technologies, and they were teaching the other people about what to look for and what to do. And I got to tell you, one of the first things they said, Tom, was you have to have an open system, and that doesn't mean just the protocol. It means choices of who can work on the product. And another vendor stood up and said, we're open because of that. And he got shouted down. They said, sir, you're not open because I can only work with your branch operation. To me, when I talk to customers and they say, why should we put Honeywell in our building? We're using another brand. There's a couple reasons. Number one, Honeywell's one of the largest companies on the planet. They're going to be around. And number two, they have a distributor network that's highly trained. They have, and the distributors have contractors that go through very, very rigorous training to get certified on the Honeywell products. So bottom line, you could have the best contractor in the world, and if something happened to him, somebody else can step right in and work with that system.
We're totally dedicated to two-step distribution. Our distribution partners provide a level of service and support to our contractors that we think is unmatched, and that's a critical component of what we do. I also think we have probably the broadest product offering of anybody in the business. So when you think about it, it's not just HVAC. It also includes access and security. We've got a great team, with Roger and Laura and everybody who supports our security offering. In our access control offering, we're bringing a lighting control offering into the portfolio this fall. So we're trying to really broaden everybody's reach again, so you can go back in and add an access system to somebody who you've done an HVAC job for, or vice versa. It allows Honeywell contractor customers multiple touch points with their end customers, multiple ways to add to their business, and we think that's absolutely critical. I think diversification and the ability to do broader systems integration is a critical component of success for all of our systems integrators. Not only do we have the product, but we've got a great support team. When you think about, Roger, awesome guy, won the Control Trends Award. Laura Kevitt, super knowledgeable about security and HVAC integration, has done it a lot. And Richard Bogle, from a support standpoint, and the security knowledge of the team is unparalleled. So we're here to help you do your first job and get over the hump and then start to do more and make it a profitable part of your business.
It's great to do business with people that you like and are really competent. And I mean, you guys got those. We love Roger Rebenak. I don't know whether we call it the Roger Rebenak experience. We've talked about it on Control Talk now. Roger is, you may not know this, but he's like the mayor of Indianapolis. He grew up in Indianapolis. He puts together a marketing thing every year. So if you buy Honeywell Access and Security, and we encourage you to reach out to your local Honeywell distributor and find out what you need to do to be on the Roger Rebenak experience. But he takes a group up to Indy for the Indy 500. I mean, you get to go behind the scenes, the pit passes. I mean, Roger knows everybody there, and he's just such a flamboyant, great character, right? I call him the most exciting man in the controls industry. So, I mean, if there's the great products, that's just a bonus, to get to hang out with Roger and the Honeywell team. So reach out to your local Honeywell distributor and say, hey, I want to be part of the Roger Rebenak experience. And if they don't know what they're talking about, you need another Honeywell distributor. So Tom, let's thank you, by the way, so much for your time. I'd like to sort of begin to wind things down here a little bit. I know you guys, speaking of products, you guys have a road show that's coming out this fall. Speak a bit about, what you guys are going to be doing and how the community can find out and more about Honeywell and Honeywell products this fall.
We're doing a road show called Momentum on the Road, and we're introducing a whole pile of new products. We used to dribble them out one or two at a time over the course of a year and bombard everybody with emails, and it was kind of frankly distracting. So what we're trying to do now is take all of our product innovation and introduce it at once, make a big splash, and have local events. So Honeywell partners, please get a hold of your distributors and sign up and go to one of these events, because we're introducing 8 new products that we think are going to make a big difference to your business. Just real briefly, we're introducing a new Spider with relays. We're introducing Silk I/O, so an I/O module for Spiders. It comes in 3 versions that gives you a lot more I/O, so you can start to do some of those bigger plant jobs without having to split them across controllers. We're doing a new Zeolite, inexpensive Zeo wall module. It's also on the Silk Bus. We love the Silk Bus because it reduces installation time, right? 2 wires, polarity insensitive. What could be simpler? Big advantage for Honeywell contractors on labor on the job. We're introducing some new field device products. In addition to our new Fast Track program, which really gives you a lot of assistance in specifying the right valve the first time and ordering it correctly. We've got tagging with QR codes on our valves now, so you can just shoot your smartphone or iPad at a QR code and get all the installation and application information you need on the product. I think that's a great idea. We're coming out with a new small 3 Newton meter ball valve actuator, which will be very competitively priced and have some snap-on, snap-off features that'll speed up installation and reduce your time on the job. A new fire and smoke actuator, the high torque fire and smoke actuator, and then we're adding to our Silk actuator line a higher torque product that is up to 5 Newton meters. So we're trying to do as many Silk-based products as we possibly can.
If you're already in the Honeywell community, you're going to hear about this, but if you're not, if you're somebody who hasn't made the switch to Honeywell yet, I really encourage you to reach out and check Honeywell out, check what they have to offer. Tom, I suspect you'll probably be at some of these road shows too, but I mean, it's a great opportunity to meet not just the local people, but also the product managers for the individual products. You can give them input on it, and then you get to meet really cool people like Tom.
Hey, I'm going to be at as many of these as I can be, and we've got teams scheduled to be at each one of them with all the product knowledge and application knowledge that you need to be successful.
There you have it. That's Tom Rossbach from Honeywell. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time to come by and talk with us. Hope we can get you back another time.
Hey Ken, Eric, it's been my pleasure. It's great to have a chance to talk about business and all the great people that support the brand every day.